Tell me whose side are you living on?
I'm living on the Lord's side.
Tell me whose side are you living on?
I'm living on the Lord's side. I'm a living on the Lord's side. I'm a living on the Lord's side.
Tell me whose side are you serving on?
I'm serving on the Lord's side.
Tell me whose side are you serving on?
I'm serving on the Lord's side. I'm a servant on the Lord's side. I'm a servant on the Lord's side.
Tell me whose side are you singing on?
I'm singing on the Lord's
Tell
side.
me whose side are you singing on?
I'm singing on the Lord's side. I'm a singing on the Lord's side. I'm singing on the Lord's
And
side.
I'm
singing on the Lord's side. I'm singing.
In the beginning, there was only darkness. But through him, all things came to be, from the heavens above and on earth down below. He is the perfect image, the reflection of the unseen God, the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. His hand produces displays of amazing power. His glory fills the heavens and earth with majestic light. For he is the one who conquered death. Sing praise to the giver of life, for Christ is the true source of hope for the world.
Have you ever wondered who those people are who meet at 5051 Wilmington Pike every Sunday? Welcome to Cornerstone Church of Christ, where we meet every Sunday to bring glory to our God and to remember who we are. We're imperfect people on a mission together, following Jesus. At Cornerstone, our first and foremost purpose is to bring reverence and glory to God. And you'll see that when you spend time with us. We're from every walk of life, ordinary men and women who are just trying to raise our families. We want to serve and please our God. You'll find people of compassion who are eager to help and ready to love and serve. We just want to help you get home to heaven. We have asked some of our members of the church family to tell you why this place is so special.
We want a church that not only could we grow as Christians, but also, think about our daughters and our son.
I have grown and my mindset has expanded since I've been at Cornerstone.
It truly feels like we have family here.
We stay connected all week long in so many different ways.
I think it's more of what a church should be.
We feel at home.
I could go on and on about the Cornerstone Church of Christ and the difference that's being made here in the lives of so many people. But in reality, it's all about Jesus and the difference that He's making in every one of the people here at Cornerstone. We want you to check us out today on the web at cornerstone-coc.com, our live stream, or come by and be a part of one of our worship services. You'll be glad you did, and we want you to know there's always a warm welcome that awaits you here. If you're looking for a place to belong, if you're looking for a place to serve God and raise your family, if you're looking for a place where you can be changed into God's kind of person, then come check us out at the Cornerstone Church of Christ.
Lord's side. By Christ redeemed, in Christ restored, we keep the memory adored, and show the death of our dear Lord until He seen you in the sanctuary.
Life is busy. Things can get pretty intense from time to time. Our attention is captured by current events or brief moments that distract from what's important. As we walk this path, our focus starts to shift. Our gaze begins to wander. Life itself gets a bit blurry. That's what chaos does. It diverts our eyes from looking at Jesus. It steals our gaze and distorts our view. But this is not how God intended us to live. For He is the peace in the chaos, the calm in the storm, the anchor in the rising sea. When we keep our eyes on Jesus, the author and perfecter of our faith, we can walk through anything this life has to offer.
The Bible is more than just a book. It's more than just stories from the past. The pages of the Bible is a key that unlocks the door to knowing God's heart. A guide that shows the will of the Father who cares deeply for you. It is a key to an intimate relationship with the Holy Spirit. The Word is described as a lamp for your feet and a light on your path. It has the ability to keep you from danger and guide your steps. The Word of God is living and breathing. It is sharper than any double-edged sword. The Word of God is true and life-giving. In these pages, you will find the support you seek. Woven in this book is encouragement and life. You will be reminded that our God works for the good of those who love Him. God gave us a spirit of power and love and not of fear. You can do all things through Christ, who strengthens you.
through my night, restored exceeding joy. Your grace fell like the rain and made this desert live. You have turned my mourning into dancing. You have turned my sorrow into joy. You have turned my mourning into dancing. You have turned my sorrow into joy. Your hand lifted me up, I stand on higher ground. Your praise rose in my heart and made this valley sing.
In the beginning, there was only darkness. But through him, all things came to be. From the heavens above.
Have turned my mourning into dancing. You have turned my sorrow into joy. You have turned my mourning into dancing. You have turned my sorrow into joy. This is how we overcome. This is how we overcome. This is how
I'm hot.
Good morning and welcome to your Pathway Home. It's Matthew Allen. Jason is hot, in case you didn't hear that.
Yes, I am hot, Matt. I don't know what we got a budget cut around here or what, but this air conditioning does not seem to be working, brother.
Well, it could be the drugs you're on.
I don't know. The coffee. I don't know.
Well, yeah. I made the best pot of coffee this morning I've had in a while.
It's good. It's good, but it's good to see you all this morning, and it's going to be a great day. I see several people engaging already, and I hope you take a minute and just to like and to share our broadcast so everybody knows that we're live. I know everybody's got a busy morning this morning, and hopefully everybody will get some time to spend outside, some time to spend with family today, and especially your church family.
Absolutely. We want you to come out and be with us at Cornerstone. We'll be meeting in about an hour and a half for Bible class, and then 10:30 for worship this morning. Sunday is the greatest day of the week, and I saw Emily post that just a second ago, and I totally concur with that. It is a great day. And the best thing about coming to Cornerstone is when you walk in the door, there's no judgment, there's no guilt trips. It's just love and grace and mercy, and for wherever you are in your life, because we want to help you turn your life over to Jesus, get your life right, and serve Him day by day with the rest of us as we all strive to do what's right and live life. And life is hard, and we do it together here.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And, not only is today kind of being a action-packed day for so many people, but, Matt, I understand you got kind of a busy week ahead of you. So why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
I do. We're traveling, leaving this afternoon. We're headed out to Texas, Becky and I, and really a great opportunity that I have been blessed with. I'm going to be speaking at a conference in Wichita Falls, Texas. It's called Revive Texoma. This has just been a wonderful invitation that I received, and I've got a couple lessons I'll be delivering, probably 700 or 800 brethren that will be gathered there in that place, speaking Friday on unity, working together as brothers and sisters in the local church. And we're going to be talking about, Friday, I'm going to be speaking on the nature and the power and the fellowship of unity, and how God has called us to maintain it. And when we're working for unity, we are striving to take the first step and repair things, and if there's damaged relationships. And so that's one of the lessons I'll be talking about on Friday. And then I'm also going to be speaking on seeing through the eyes of Jesus, and talking about what drives our ministry. So two great opportunities this week for me to be able to reach out and get to know a lot of brethren that I've never met before, because I don't get to travel to that part of the country very much. And Jason, I always like going to Texas.
I have never been to Texas. Now, me and you have a trip planned.
Yeah.
Later this year. If I'm still going, I don't know if I'm going to be uninvited at some point.
I haven't disinvited you yet.
But as of right now,
yeah,
I might get to breach that. And there's a few people down there that maybe I can touch base with.
Yeah.
It's not that big of a state, so I should be able to, get over there at some point. So,
but anyway, it's a great opportunity, and appreciate the brothers and sisters here at Cornerstone letting me take advantage of that. And so it's just going to be a great week. But today, Jason, we're going to be spending a little time this morning talking about worship and reverencing God, and it's Sunday is a wonderful day to do that.
Matt, I'm glad we're going to talk about this morning, because we were kind of dancing around this idea the last few weeks, because it seems like more and more people say, well, I'm a spiritual person, but I don't go to church, because I don't believe in religion, and they say things like that. And you also hear people say, they're just not participating. They no longer see that it's important for them to come together and worship God. And I understand that life is challenging and such, but I think that Christians need to understand the importance of getting together, assembling with each other, worshiping God together, remembering the death, burial, and resurrection of Christ together. And that is just an outflow of who we are and what we do. And I want you to see it as an important thing. And I'd like to address that a little bit this morning, because I was thinking, when people come across with attitudes like that, I wonder if a lot of it is how they've been feeling when they left. Did they feel like they had been fed or they've been starved? I wonder if some people feel like they've been yelled at. I've had people say things like that. I wonder if they got bored. I wonder if they left upset or mad. And to me, when I look at biblical worship and gatherings, I see a fellowship of people that are encouraging each other and opening their hearts to God in praise and worship. And one of the things that we need to think about is who we are approaching. And we are approaching the God of heaven. And I'd like to hear from some of the people today when we talk about meaningful worship here this morning, what it actually takes to be meaningful worship. And I don't think, and I don't want you just to think that it has to be, Sunday morning type of worship. I was even thinking about the time that David brought the ark back and they were moving the ark, and I was looking back at all the different events and such that David did with the ark, and I see such preparation and worship and praise and stuff. These were big events, Matt, and at the one occurred, I see people doing sacrifice. They were fasting. They were very full of meaning and celebration. And I'm not trying to say that this is setting an example for this. There was a great big band playing. Essentially, there was a parade. There was lyrics and harps and tambourines and cymbals and trumpets. Now, I'm not trying to say that that's all stuff we need to embrace today. What I am saying is, it was a big event. It was full of energy and joy and celebration and praise to God that not just happened when they woke up that morning, but it was something that was very planned and meaningful and purposeful.
Yes, and I think, okay, so first of all, there's a lot to really take away from what you just said. First of all, is the problem that we hear people express a lot. And that is, I don't get anything out of it, or I got yelled at, or this or that, or whatever. Okay. So I think first and foremost, we need to remember the direction of our worship. First and foremost, it is about God. It is about God. And so I want you to imagine for a second, if you came into the presence of God, how would you feel? What would be your attitude? One would be abject awe and amazement and reverence, and understanding that He is God and you're not. And so worship begins with an attitude. So when we approach God in worship, it does need to begin, I believe, with the proper attitude, one of reverence and respect for who God is. And that also comes into emotion, as Pat Ogden just wrote. It's got to be heartfelt, and emotion is there. And I think we are somewhat in the church kind of squelched when it comes to showing emotion, and there's a whole lot of theories as to why that is the case. But it is a continual challenge. I would also say this, Jason, we have to be sure that when we approach worship, that it is not something that has become mundane and a rote habit, because that can certainly happen. For you and I that have grown up in the church, we've been doing this our whole life, 50 years we've been going to church, roughly. Okay, actually probably 51, but anyway, who's counting? And so this is all I know on Sunday morning. If I look back over my life, 51 years, there's a handful of Sundays that I've not been to church. Only a handful.
You know, Matt, every part of our worship is important, so I don't want to take away from one over the other. But I just want to talk about one that touches me personally. If you know me, if you ever been to my house, you see I have shelves of hymnals. I don't care where they came from. I don't care who wrote them. I love to know the history behind them. I don't care what church you got. In fact, you got an old hymnal, send it my way. But I have hymnals, and I love to flip through them. And I know my brother Russ does too. And some of these songs are just so meaningful and so moving, and they are just so thought-provoking and cause me to do so much self-reflection. And I could be singing these songs to God, and I have to ask myself, do I really mean this? And that's what I think it means, you know, when you're singing to God, you know. And then I think about some of the songs, I don't even know the terms. And so I have to Google terms because I don't even know what that word means. And you can't sing it from your heart if you don't even know what it means. And so, you know, we use older terminology sometimes in some of the writing, but some of these writers are so creative. I have a little bit of envy for them, you know, or I was just, maybe the word is appreciation, because, man, I think I wish I could write words like that, because that's what my heart feels.
I think some people have that gift, you know.
Yeah, it's truly a gift. That's right.
You know, Jason, I think one of the things, okay, so if I'm going to reverence God and worship, I've got to start with my attitude. It's God focused, and I come to have my soul stirred. Okay, so think about it in this regard. God has called us together weekly to saints to meet on the first day of the week. Get your week start off with the right priority. God is there, and really, I view every Sunday as an opportunity for a reset. Okay, a spiritual reset, because I can't go back and change last week. All I've got is today and looking ahead to what's to come, and so I come together, and I have this opportunity today to commune with the Lord, to consider my relationship with Him, to reflect on His sacrifice for me, and then to reveal my heart in the way that I sing, and participate in the prayers, and listen to the preaching, or I'm actually doing the preaching, so I'm listening to myself. But it's incumbent on me, and all of this is a reflection of my heart to God. So I think one of the issues that we deal with in the 21st century is we have a culture that's so saturated in, what do I get out of it? I have to leave there getting something out of it. And to a degree, there is something we get out of it. But I think the main thing is, what am I giving to God in my worship? And if I'm giving myself wholeheartedly to God, then the effect of that I'm looking for, the high that I'm looking for that afterward, will be there naturally. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I think it keeps going right back to the very first point you made. It comes about our attitude. And one of the things I like about what, our sister here, Sister Steele, mentions, she says that, I get my cup filled with gladness. Well, I'm going to tell you something, folks. If you come to get your cup filled, it will get filled. But if your cup's overflowing, then I'm going to make a suggestion for you. Bring a bucket. If you think you got a cup that's overflowing, then just open your heart to more. And I'm not criticizing Miss Steele, because I think she can appreciate that. I mean, but her point is great. She came with an empty vessel saying, "Fill me up, Lord."
Yeah.
And that's what we need to do. It does affect us. And I got to tell you, I do want to express and direct my worship to God. But when I do that, Matt, I am uplifted. And so when I say, what I get out of church, or what I get out of worship, or whatever, I also think that it's important for us to recognize that worship has a role. There is a role for us.
So, let's go back to something right at the top. Okay, you mentioned people that say, "But we can worship God outside of the building and all that," which I agree. Okay, I think a lot of our worship worship is not confined to the confines of a four-walled room with 200 people in it. Worship can happen every day of the week at all sorts of different times. All right, but there is something special about when the Lord's people gather on the first day of the week. There's something special about that, and we don't need to downplay it. I do think it's going to depend. Okay, if my focus when I walk in is everything about God, praising Him, being grateful for Him, renewing my service to Him, asking for forgiveness for I've fallen short. If everything in that is about God, then I'm going to have less time to come in and focus on others and their shortcomings and my personality conflicts and my disagreements and where I differ with this and that, and the elders didn't do this or that, or the preacher said that, or he did this. All of that's going to just kind of fade away. And so really it comes back to I have to challenge myself every week to walk through these doors and make sure my heart, my mind, my focus is on God. And when I do that, when I have that focus where it is, that I'm going to see my brethren in a different light. All right? I'm going to see them as brothers and sisters in Christ. We share this the greatest thing a human can have in this life. We share that together. And they're just like me. They're struggling too. We all do. And the idea is that we're together in it. All right? And that just, you walk out of, that's when you can walk out of a Sunday and feel refreshed, joyful, and equipped to handle what's coming during the week.
Yeah, Matt, I got to share a weakness here. When I walk in the building, and I was just thinking about this yesterday. I was going through my phone list thinking, who might not have a place to eat this afternoon so I could get them over to my house? Because my wife and girls and my adopted girl were all there cooking yesterday. All day. And Matt, I'm trying to be on a diet. And that's impossible.
Don't talk to me about diets.
All right, but we
had a conversation earlier in the week about this.
Okay, well, what I'm trying to say is, I don't even know where I was going with this. But anyways, when I come into and I was thinking, okay, I was going through my contacts, and I came across Betty's name. I couldn't wait until I seen Betty each week because she was a joy, and she could hug like nobody. And not only that, she was always smiling. This woman was not healthy. She was not healthy, and she went on to be with the Lord earlier or within the year. But either way, I couldn't wait to do. And I understand people come in. We got life things happening, and they come in and they're sad and they're sitting and sobbing maybe over self-reflection or problems, that they have, and we need to be there. But I deal with people and their problems all week and every day. And I come in on the Lord's Day and I need that lift up. And I need to have that connection with God. And it's hard for me not to be repelled by the weepers, because I want to be, there for those who weep, but weep in the right way. It's like when I have lost a loved one. I remember when I lost my father-in-law. It was so devastating to me. And the next day, we're sitting there in worship, and every song that was sang seemed like it was about my father-in-law. And I was trying to keep my worship devoted, and I knew I needed to be there with my brother at the time. But man, the tears flowed, and I couldn't help it. And we were singing "I'll Fly Away," and I just kept thinking about, my father-in-law, he collapsed and he fell and hit the ground. That was it for him. And I thought, what? Rick probably never hit the ground. His soul just went up. I don't know. I just thought to myself, what how hard it was to focus on what I needed to focus. And I say that because I think it takes a preparation. You know, Matt, you were talking about being mad at the preacher or somebody that says something at you or some crisis that's going on in your life. But, you know, think about that. That really means we need to get in a mindset of preparation.
Yeah, yeah.
And you go back to the time of the temple, and the priest had to prepare properly. They had to go through a washing process, you know, a bathing and cleansing, and say, I'm getting ready to come before the Lord. When Moses had to step in the presence of God, he was told to take his shoes off. If you ever look at me, I sit up on the front seat. I often kick off my shoes, and I do it, and not just because I hate shoes, but because I feel like, you know, to me, it is showing that, you know, I'm in the presence of God. And that's me. I don't know. I know you guys are going to, here comes the emails. I'm just saying, you know, we have to prepare. And that means that, Matt, you can't get up there and preach on Sunday morning and have no thought to it. You have to think about, what do we need to be fed? Yeah, and the Lord, yes, I believe can guide you through that process because, and you know, you do it prayerfully and with faith and so on. But I also think Matt's got to spend some time in the book.
Yeah,
And the songs are the same way. If we're singing funeral songs and we're supposed to be praising the Lord, it's weird. It doesn't make sense. We need to do preparation. If we get up before the Lord's Supper and you hear the same prayer, the same remarks that you've heard for 50 years, it isn't that you can't self-reflect. It is a matter of why not somebody put some thought to it. And I tell you, when somebody does that, Matt, the meaning that I get and the connection to God is so much stronger.
Well, you know, that's one of the blessings of being here, because we do plan it out. And in fact, I would say we're probably a lot further ahead than a lot of places with this. You know, Monday morning, the planning for the next Sunday begins. And a lot of that is here with me in the office. But as you work through the week, others get involved. I mean, we've got deacons that are working behind the scenes to do planning. Your son is busy helping with that. And those that are involved in serving typically are communicating with each other. The preacher is getting the information out to the song leader as to what the lesson's going to be about, and the song leader typically picks songs that go along with that theme. And those that are leading in prayer are in the know as far as needs that are in the congregation, and it all works out. It's all planned. It's all thoughtful, and you know, I know there have been other experiences I've had where it was anything but that. It was just somebody gets up and, well, let's turn to page 433, and we sing that out of memory because it's a song we all know, and there's very little thought given to the Lord's Supper and other things. And the next thing you know, you're done at 12 and you walk out the door, and we'll see you next week. And you know, you do that over and over, and there's nothing really stimulating about that. So the key is my heart, my preparation, and I like what Jim wrote here a minute ago. He used Romans 12, 1 and 2. And that is a great passage, I think, Jason, that emphasizes the daily worship component of this. Okay, my transformation of life, my renewal of my mind, and embracing God and who He is part of that spiritual service of worship. And by the way, that language there in Romans 12:2 is the language of sacrifice, right? It's the language of worship. So my daily life is an act of worship and service before God. And as Jim says in his comment, the devotion that I have to that in my daily life should naturally reflect into the praise and the adoration that we exhibit when we walk in the door on Sunday morning. And I do like what Greg writes here, Jason. Maybe you can elaborate a little bit more on that, where he talks about part of the reason why we come together to worship is to encourage one another and to build each other up, to stimulate one another to love and good deeds. So have you noticed something here with everything, Jason, I've said already? Worship is about God. Worship is about others. We've not said anything about me yet.
That's right. And you know, Matt, I think that sometimes what people interpret worship as being today is kind of like they come and worship takes place and they are this observer of it. You know, and we've said, you know, it's like their band is playing, their preacher's entertaining, you know, or they put on a show or something like that. And it's kind of like they are participants watching this situation. And I don't see that as biblical worship. Biblical worship to me is when people assemble and, you know, people say, well, it's about God. And you guys are putting a lot of emphasis on, you know, what do you do for each other, you know, and Greg shares some verses from Hebrews 10 talking about how it is, some of it is about each other when we get together. And I just wanted to say you can't separate the two. Okay, if you have a relationship with God, you have a relationship with your brother. The scriptures teach that how can you say that you hate your brother whom you know and you see, but then you love God who you've never seen? You know, you can't separate the two. And so, you know, it has to do with both. I was thinking back where we started, back with David. And you know, the result of what happened with him moving the ark on a cart rather than carrying it the way they were supposed to and so on, regardless all of the pomp and circumstance that they put together and preparation and all of that, because I do think people can prepare. I do think people want the same goal. David had a heart for God. There's no doubt about it. But the result at the end of the day was somebody died. And I'm asking you today to think about how you are worshiping God and what your worship is like. Is it devoted to God? Is it structured in a way that there's mutual faith building going on? Are you considering your brother and where they need to be equipped and fed? Is the focus the way it needs to be? Or is it scriptural what you're doing? That's what happened, you know, one of the things that happened with David. And the reason why I bring that up is, are we going to wait for churches to die before we get the point? Because Uzzah died that day with David. And, you know, people stand back and they say, well, what's happening to churches today? They're dying. They're dying because they have lost their way. They forgot their purpose. They no longer worship God. They have changed their assemblies into entertainment, you know, segments and you know, we can't even express joy. You know, there are certain people that just suck the joy out of serving the Lord. And I have to say, one of the reasons that I'm at Cornerstone is because I feel like when I sing and when I pray and when I'm with my brethren, I can be joyful about it. And I'm not afraid to show emotion. You know, and it is something we do when it says pray one for another, sing with one another in songs, hymns, and spiritual songs. You know, when they came together on the Lord's Day to partake of the Lord's Supper, you know, they did it together. You know, and even Paul, when he wrote them in Corinthians, and he talked to them about wait for each other. It's not an individual action. It's a group action as a church working together for the same purpose. And when there are churches dying out there, and I use church in a very broad sense, you get that. It's dying because we forgot the importance of worship and our purpose.
Well, so let's go back to something Julie just wrote in, because I think you kind of said it. I think we, she says, in quotes, have suppressed the idea of praise. And that is certainly an issue, I believe. All right. You know, when you think about just the open expression of praise to God, all right, communicating that during worship, I mean, lifting of holy hands, you know, in some places that's frowned upon. Saying amen out loud, or just that general idea of being happy and celebrating. Okay, so for example, all right, I believe that when we when we remember the Lord's Supper, we remember Jesus' death, and all of that's tied up with that. I believe that is a somber. Somber. It's sad because you're focusing on what He did for you, and you're focusing on the pain, the anguish, the level of that sacrifice that He went through for you, and you didn't deserve it. And so that is a serious moment that we take to reflect. Just for example, when I go to visit the cemetery of my loved ones, which is not much because I don't live anywhere where they died or buried, but when I do, it's a poignant moment for me to reflect. I haven't been for a number of years where we scattered the ashes of my dad, but the last time I hiked in there, that was a very moving moment for me. And there is nothing wrong with that. All right. I think that is a serious time of reflection for us during that Lord's Supper time to be able to focus on what Jesus did. But that is not the whole entire worship service. All right. The rest of the worship service should be one where we are praising and singing with enthusiasm. And there are some responsibilities of those who lead to make sure that that is facilitated. All right. And that means we're going to need to sing songs that people are familiar with. We're going to need to be planned. And by the way, Jason, I know you love 19th century songs.
Thanks, Matt.
Okay. It's not just the 20th century, but I'm kind of on the opposite side of this. I love the praise and harmony songs, and I know you do too. I'm giving you a hard time. I love the praise and harmony songs that have come out over the last few years. I think they are.
By the way, some are written in the 19th century, Matt. So just
okay. But and I really think that congregations need to be learning those songs. All right, and one of the reasons why I feel that way so strongly is because, in my experience, 50 years now, I've been singing the same old songs over and over and over again, and some of them I know by memory. And I don't have to do much to engage my brain for those. And so it just becomes kind of just, if I let it, then that's the key. If I let it, it can just become just, over and over and over again. I don't think much about it. But some of those praise songs that come out, oh, wow. We started singing here, 4 or 5 years ago. There's a song that we sing for communion. I knew I'd forget it now that I brought it up.
I know, I can hum it.
But it drove me to tears. The words are that powerful, all right? And I would just sing that song maybe last week, and I can't remember of it. It starts out with the women singing.
That one. Yes. I actually introduced that one, I think. I don't know. It's so many songs, but and I like what Jane Barker just wrote. We need to feel God when you go to church, and she says she's never felt that, and I'm sorry about that. I hope when people come here to Cornerstone that they walk out having been stirred in their soul. All right, and listen, you can say, I want to be stirred in my soul and not be charismatic. And I think that is probably the greatest fear that drives a lot of members of the church. We are so afraid that we're going to get labeled as a bunch of holy rollers. All right? Who cares? I tell you, Matt, I was here this morning. We were listening to music as we were getting ready, and I couldn't help. I realized I'm tapping my foot. And used to be in the old churches that I grew up in, a lot of them had wood floors, and somebody would tap their foot and you could hear it. I mean, it's emotionally stirring. And what Jane is bringing up is, we have came together and checked a box for so many years that for some people in some places, it doesn't even emotionally stir them anymore. And for me, when I'm praising God, I think about what he's done for me, and that stirs me up. When I think about the Lord's Supper, I can hardly even lead in that because it crushes me inside. And I know I'm not the only man that feels that way. Some of these songs, like you say, Matt,
How deep the Father's love for us, Jim reminded us.
Okay, that one's it. It tears me up. I mean, inside. But I keep singing. I didn't even, I used to really care if I was on key. Because I was learning, I was in choir and stuff as a kid, in school. And now I don't even care. You may sit near me. I don't even care. I just bellow it out because I ain't singing for you. I'm singing for the Lord.
My voice has gotten worse and worse.
I guess that's not a very good attitude. I guess we do sing one to another but you get my point. I'm just singing. Man, I'm just singing to the Lord. I don't even care anymore if I'm on the bass line, tenor line, or the Jason line. I'm just singing because I'm just trying to pay attention to the words and think about what I'm actually saying to God. I guess what Matt and I are trying to say this morning is we think about this. I don't know where you're going to go today to worship with God's people, but I hope that you are worshiping in a place that puts some thought about what they're doing, that is God directed in God's way, but also keeps in mind that they have made the proper preparation so that each of us grow in that faith building experience together. We put God first, but we grow together in praise and worship to him. And I know you can find it at Cornerstone. And if you ever are in our area, we hope you come and join us in that. And I would say if you can't worship him individually, you're never going to be able to worship him in a group. So maybe think about also, what are you doing during the week to make sure that God's remembered, that God is praised? And it all goes back to the heart you was talking about, Matt.
So come out and be with us at Cornerstone today. We'll be gathering in about 50 minutes, 9:30 for Bible class. We have Bible classes for everybody in the building, from 0 to 18 and all the way up to 95. If you want to be here with us today, 9:30 for that, 10:30 for worship. Join us for praise and prayer and preaching as we focus today on the resurrection of Jesus Christ out of John chapter 20. I want you to be a part of that. 5051 Wilmington Pike is the address, or online at cornerstone-coc.com, or right here on Facebook, YouTube, Roku, Apple TV, Fire TV, you name it, we're there.
So I don't care if it's your first time or your 50th year. Do it today. Start today. Start somewhere. And this would be a great place. Here at Cornerstone, there's a place for you. You have a good Lord's Day.
We will see you next week.